Hello students and welcome back once again. I hope you all are doing well at home. Today we will discuss the remaining topics from the chapter 14, that is sources of energy, from class 10. So let us proceed towards today's class. First we will be discussing about the biomass. Biomass are generally the organic matter of the plants and the animals, or the different waste products of the plants or the animals, and the sea waste or the residue that are left behind after the harvesting of the crops. All these are called the biomass, and when this biomass undergo anaerobic decomposition by different microorganisms in the absence of the oxygen, they give biogas, and these biogas are excellent source of fuel, and it is used in different domestic purposes also. And this biogas is generally called gobar gas because generally the mixture that is taken to produce this gas is that of cow dung, that is the waste products of the cow, that is animal. So this is generally called the gobar gas. Now the plant where you can prepare this gobar gas is a very simple one, and even at home also we can prepare this. Okay, so let us now discuss that plant. Okay, this is a biogas plant. So what happens in this plant, there is a big digester which one is completely sealed, and on the top on one side there is a tank where we put the slurry. Slurry means the mixture of cow dung and water that is mixed properly and that is put in the tank, from where it is passed to the digester. As we have already said, digester is a sealed tank. No, there is no oxygen present, so there anaerobic decomposition of the mixture will be taken place, and that will break down the molecules into smaller one, and as a result different gases will be produced. Out of that, methane is in high percentage, and that gases are stored in the gas tank, where a pipe is fitted. This is the gas pipe through which we can take out the gas whenever we require. And the mixture that is left after the decomposition, it is not wasted. What happens? It can be taken out through another outlet here, because it is a rich source of manure, because it contains nitrogen, phosphorus. So that is why it is a good fertilizer and can be used for the cultivation purpose. So this is a biogas plant. This biogas has got different advantages. What is the first advantage? It contains 75% of methane. So it is a very excellent source of fuel, because methane is the most important component of a fuel. And also when we burn the biogas, it do not produce smoke, and if it doesn't produce smoke, that means it does not produce air pollution, and also no residue is left behind when we burn the biogas. Also the calorific value of this fuel is very high, that means the heating capacity is very high, and it can be used for the lighting purpose also. If the plant is a big one and if enough energy is produced, then we can use that for the lighting purpose also. And the mixture that is left after decomposition is rich in the nitrogen and the phosphorus, so it is a good manure, and it is a good waste disposal system, because instead of throwing the garbages here and there, if you prepare a proper place where you can dispose all these waste products, that means it is a reuse of that waste products. We can generate a good amount of biogas from that waste products of our home. So these are the advantages, but it has got some disadvantages as well, like it cannot be used on a large scale. No, like compared to other power plants, the biogas is not that much large. It is a limited one, so the amount of energy that we get will also be less. And it contains different impurities, no? Because since in the mixture we put the cow dung, water, and different these residues and all, so what happens? It contains impurities, and that impurities even after decomposition also cannot be broken down. So impurities are always present there, and it may be hazardous and unstable also, because since the amount of the methane produced is very high, so methane may react with oxygen to produce a lot of carbon dioxide, and we know that methane is an inflammable one. No? So these are the disadvantages of the biogas. Now another source of energy is the wind energy. We know that when unequal heating of the landmass or the water bodies will happen, what will happen? The air will move, and this causes the wind to blow, and that wind are, what happens? This is the picture of a windmill. Okay, in the windmill, these are like fan-like structure. At our home, fan is also present. So these are like fan-like. When the wind will blow, this will rotate the fan, no? Windmill, and when it will rotate, it will further rotate the turbine, and it will run the generator, and electricity can be produced. So in this way, wind energy can be converted to electricity. But it is not that only one windmill will produce electricity. There will be a series of windmills, and that are connected to one another. So in this way, the wind energy can also be used to generate the electricity. And this has also got some advantages and disadvantages like the biogas. First advantage is that we know wind is a renewable source of energy. It is not going to end up. So using the wind energy is a good one, because it is a renewable source of energy. And then it is environment friendly also, because no pollution, no greenhouse effect, nothing. And to build up that windmill, the cost is very low compared to other very big or high power plants. The production or the production of the electricity from this wind energy or the windmill is low, because the cost of the equipments are low. But the disadvantages are that it can be established only in a limited number of places, especially in which places? In a big open area, where there are no buildings, or the big fields where the wind blows at a higher speed. And the speed of the wind should be higher than 15 km per hour. So every time the speed of the wind should be high. If the speed is less, it cannot produce that much electricity. And since it is dependent on the weather means on a windy season, the electricity generated will be more. So if sometimes no wind is blowing, then if we are depending on that windmill energy for some of the industries, and if there is no wind, then what will happen? We cannot get any electricity. But always there should be backup facility for this. That is why. So this is the disadvantage, because we always have to keep one backup facility for that. And it requires large area, as already discussed, and the cost of the production may be low, but the maintenance cost is very high, because the blades that are present on the windmill, they are exposed to sun, air, rain, moisture every day, isn't it? So there is a chance that those blades may get damaged. So it requires lots of maintenance. So these are the disadvantages. So now let us discuss some of the non-conventional sources of energy. And first we are going to discuss about the solar energy. Solar energy, generally we know solar means what? The sun. No? So the energy that we get from the heat and the light of the sun is called the solar energy. And our India is what? India is a very such a place where we get sunshine, or the sun remains in a bright situation almost all throughout the year. So we live in a place where we get lots of solar energy. Now these are some of the devices that trap the solar energy and use it for different purposes. First one is that of a solar cooker, and the second one is a solar cell panel. First, let us discuss about the solar cooker. It is a equipment where we can cook food. No? It's like a cooker that we use at home, but only the difference here is that the energy here is the sunlight. So what happens on the here there is a mirror fitted which will reflect the radiation from the sun, and it will make fall towards the this inside the box. This is like a box, okay, and here the glass sheet is present, and inside that one is a food that is kept there to cook. So what happens when the glass sheet will trap the energy inside the box? That means the radiation will go inside the box, but because of the presence of the glass sheet, the energy or the radiation will not escape. So it gets trapped inside the box, and the box is painted with the black color, because we know the absorption amount of heat absorbed by the black color is the most compared to other colors. So in that way, enough energy is trapped that can cook food in this solar cooker. And this is the picture of a solar panel that we can see at different places. These plates, the solar plates, they trap the energy, and that energy are converted into electricity by the same process of the rotation of the turbine, running of the generator, like that, by the same process. We know sun is also a renewable source of energy, isn't it? The sun is also going to be with us for many years. So it is a renewable source of energy, and the maintenance cost is also low compared to other projects. And we know there are some villages in our country where there is no electricity. Due to some problem, maybe the electricity connection cannot be given to that villages, but we can set up these solar panels in that areas so that those villagers can be benefited. No? So it can be set up in the remote places also. And we know using the solar energy reduces our electricity bill, so it is a very good plus point for us. And some of the satellites or some of the radio, television stations, or in some toys, calculators also, we can see the use of solar plates. Okay, so these are the advantages. Then the disadvantages are the manufacturing cost is very expensive. The maintenance is low, but the manufacturing cost is very expensive, because here a special grade silicon is used in order to prepare that solar panel, and that is very limited and very expensive also. And we know it is weather dependent, because on a very sunny day, what happens? The sun radiation is more, and as a result energy produced is more. But what will happen on a rainy day or a cloudy day? Now there the energy produced will be less, because the radiation is less. So it is completely weather dependent. And this project also requires large space, because different panels should be connected one another, and for that connection also silver metal is used, and silver is also a very expensive one. So that is why this project is expensive. Now we know that energy can also be produced from the sea. How? Because we know the sea or the ocean has got the high waves, high tides coming. So that possesses the kinetic energy, and that is used in turn to produce the electricity. So the energy that we get from the sun are the tidal energy, then the wave energy, and the ocean thermal energy. So what happens in the tidal energy? We know the level of the sea does not remain same, isn't it? Sometimes very high, sometimes very low, because of the high tides and the low tides. So what happens? These high tides can be blocked, like we have studied now that dam project and all. So we can build a dam over there towards the narrow opening of the sea, and when this will be blocked, the kinetic energy of the tidal water will in turn run the turbine, and that will generate the electricity, that will run the generator, and it will produce electricity. In the same way, the wave energy has also got kinetic energy that can also be converted into electricity. And what happens in the ocean thermal energy? the surface water of the ocean are heated more compared to the deeper layer water. So what happens, this upper layer water or the hot water will boil the liquid ammonia that is used in that ocean thermal energy project, and that ammonia will, what it will do, it will run the turbine, and that turbine will run the generator and it will produce electricity. And so in this process the high level or the upper level of the hot water is used. Now, so in this way we can get energy from the sea as well. And the advantages are, we know sea or the water is also a renewable source of energy, so that is also environmental friendly, and no pollution because no fuel is used there, just what are used, the tides or the wave energy are used, so no fuel used, so no pollution. And also it requires less space compared to the solar or the wind energy, it requires less space. And once we build up this project, it lasts for long time, and maintenance cost is also almost very less compared to other projects because the project lasts for longer time, so maintenance cost is very less. But it has got some disadvantages, like in order to set up that project, it is a very costly one, because the equipments are very costly. And also it is believed that the aquatic life forms that are present under the sea or the ocean are affected very badly, and the output is also not uniform, because it depends on the tides. So the tides are also not uniform every time, so that is why the output is also not uniform. Then next comes the geothermal energy. In the geothermal energy, what happens, the molten rocks are present on some parts of the earth's crust, okay, and that are pushed upward and they are trapped in that particular area, and those areas are called the hotspots. And when the underground water will come in contact with that hotspot, it will produce hot water and as a result steam, okay, and that are taken out from that underground surface through some pipes, and that in turn will, that steam will run the turbine and it will run the generator and electricity can be produced. You can look at the picture here, hot water or the steam are taken out through the pipe, and they in turn will run the generator and the turbine to produce the electricity. Okay, so this is the working principle of the geothermal energy. And the advantages are, this is also environment friendly and no fuel is required here, so this is also pollution free, it does not produce any pollution, and the amount of energy that is produced from the geothermal energy is very high. That is why in some of the countries they use most of their electricity from this project, geothermal project only. But the disadvantages are, they can't be built everywhere, since in that place where the molten rocks are present, there only we can build up this project, and there are very few places where this type of molten rocks are trapped or the hotspot locations are present, and they are very expensive also to build because the equipments are very highly cost. Then comes the nuclear energy. The nuclear energy, this is the working principle or the diagram of the nuclear energy. So in the nuclear energy, what is done? The heavy atoms, like the uranium, plutonium, thorium, these are what? They undergo nuclear fission process and they break down into lighter nuclei. And when this process takes place, huge amount of energy is released, which are used to to boil the water to produce steam, and that steam again runs the turbine. Almost in all the power plants the same process is taking place, running of the turbine, running of the generator, on all the power plants the same process is taking place, only the sources are different. Okay, so here also a huge amount of energy are produced when that nuclear fission process will start, and then that energy will boil the water and that steam will be generated, and that will be running the turbine to generate the electricity. Suppose this is the picture of the plant. Now here this is the reactor where the fission reaction will be taking place, and as a result steam will be produced. Here steam, and then it will run the turbine, it will run the generator, and electricity is produced. Now there is a condenser where what happens, cold water is passed. Why cold water is passed? Because the hot steam after running the turbine, it will come here, and as a result the cold water will make the cool down the steam and the water, and that will again pass towards the reactor, and again the process will take place. That means cycling of the process will take place. As a result, condenser is required because the cold water is passed through that towards the condenser through this pipe. Okay, so this is the working principle of the nuclear energy. And we know this nuclear energy is also not using any fuel, so it is also non-polluting gases. It also do not produce any polluting gases, and so it does not lead to global warming. Global warming does not occur, and the power stations, once we build it, it lasts for longer period of time. No? It has a long lifetime. But the nuclear waste are very harmful to the living beings, no? And there is no proper nuclear waste disposal system. So as a result, it is very risky to dispose the nuclear waste here and there. And also there is accidental risk of accidental leakage of the nuclear radiation. We can take the example of at Hiroshima and Nagasaki, where due to the explosion of the atom bomb, till now the various radiations are present there, and different harmful diseases happen to the people who live nearby. So till now, after so many years, the effect is still there. So if by any means there is accidental leakage, it is very harmful for the living beings. And the cost of the installation is very high. Different equipments are required now for this nuclear plant, so it is very costly. And also highly skilled persons are required to operate this, and the uranium availability is also very limited. So this also creates a problem in order to use the nuclear energy for longer period of time. So these are the some advantages and disadvantages of the nuclear energy. So we have studied the different conventional and non-conventional sources of energy, isn't it? But what do we learn from all this? That even though the different sources of energy are environment friendly, or they do not cause any pollution, but to some extent they damage our environment. So we should always look for a proper technique or improved technique, so that our environment can always remain safe. No? And also the different non-renewable resources like the fossil fuels and all, if we go on using every day, one day it will come to an end, isn't it? So always we should look for the alternative source of energy, so that our resources can be safe and our environment can remain green and clean every time. So this is the chapter sources of energy, and we have finished the chapter. Hope you have understood, and in our next class we will take up some important questions and answers from this chapter. Thank you.